Ha! Today in the wood yard, I'm taking out some stumps. Here we go. So as you can see, I still have a stump there. I still have a stump here. And I've got a stump over here, and I've been riding over these darn things, bouncing around. And they're not big ones, as you can see. I mean, they're not huge stumps, but I want to get them out of here. So one of you on the channel, I forget who, I'm sorry, made a comment about an easy way to get rid of them. And I think it sounds like a good idea, so I'm going to give it a whirl. So what the person suggested, and makes a lot of sense, is that you cut all the way down as far as you can go, boring straight down in and go across, and then do the same thing here, and then put a wedge on each side and pound a wedge down in. So I've got this wedge right here, and then I've got another one too. I got a couple metal wedges that I can drive in and pop them apart. And then all I'm going to do then is, once I get them apart in pieces, I'm going to cut as low as I can sideways into them and cut them and chunk them out of there. So I'm not looking to remove the roots and everything, because I'm going to cover this with dirt anyway. I just want to get these few stumps out of the way, so when I'm riding around in here, I'm not rocking all over the place. Plus, like I've mentioned in the past, I am going to be plowing snow that direction and that direction in the wintertime, and then coming from there, going right through here. And over here, I'm going to come from this direction and then plow snow all the way back into there. So I don't want any stumps around here for when I'm plowing. I want to get it as level as I can. So that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to attack these stumps right now. Okay, so that worked pretty well. I sharpened my chain before I started. It's an old chain again, one that's down to where there's not a lot of life left in it. And I tried to cut just on the inside, so I wasn't cutting into the dirt, and I cut over here right about to the edge where the dirt starts, and same all four sides. And I cut down pretty deep, so I think this will work. If I can get it just to move out a little bit, and then I can cut it away, it'll be just fine, because I'll be below grade then. So we're going to give it a try here with the wedge and see what happens. See if we can get it to move at all, if this is something that is viable, or if I'm just going to have to cut them off. But let's see what happens here. It's already moving just with one little hit. Wow, it's working pretty good. My only concern is get the wedge in there so tight, that's just probably going to happen. I won't be able to get it out, and I won't be able to cut in because the wedge will be in there. Well, we'll see what happens. Maybe I should have went just on the sides here. Maybe I should just do one at a time. That's probably what I need to do. I think I'll pry it back out of there before I go too deep. Well, it's not going to move. It's already in there tight. And it's kind of a wedge that's got teeth on it, so. Well, I think I'm gonna go get a pry bar and see if I can pry it out of there. Be right back. I just gave it a couple taps on the side here, and she popped right out. Well, I took the pry bar first before I turned the camera on, and I gave it a couple of these where I went like this. I took my crowbar and I just did that so I could move them, and I got it loosened up now, so it popped out. So now we're going to try to take just one side at a time here and see what happens. And it moves, so there's a real good chance that I'll be able to open it up enough, and I'll be able to pry it open enough that I can get a chainsaw in there and I can zip it off from the inside. we'll see what happens, but wow, it's moving pretty easy. I'm not even hitting it that hard. So yeah, it's actually not too shabby. I think if I had, you know, a few more of these, I only got one other wedge, I gotta go find it. But I could probably keep going and adding a wedge here and here, and I could probably move this whole one over. So let's give this a try and see what happens here. It's just too rubbery. It's definitely not gonna snap off. It's got too much flex. But I think I get this opened up enough, I could stick the bucket right in there and probably just boink. We'll give that a try. Who knows? Maybe with the bucket I can get it to move. I'm gonna whack on it a little bit more here. Wow, it's popping right over. So yeah, if I had a couple more of these wedges, I'd be able to open this whole thing up and just go in and bloop, bloop. Still might be able to do that. Yeah, I might be able to just go right from here and just plunge cut right in there and take that one out. I'm just worried about hitting the wedge with the saw. That's actually opening up really nice. I can get my whole hand in there. So, let's give it a little bit of this. A little bit of lever action here. Nope. I can move it a little bit, but that's about it. I think I'm going to start the saw up because this is far enough angled away. I get the saw and I can come in like this and I can zip that one off and then maybe do the same on the other. So this actually might work pretty good. So I forgot to push record when I was cutting these off, and I didn't get any recording of me cutting with the chainsaw. What I did is I cut it off level, and then I made some more scores into it like this here, and I'm going to chop it out with the axe the rest of the way. There's not a lot because it's not a big stump, but I'm just going to chop out chunks, and so you'll see me whacking away here and breathing heavy for a while. Yeah, it's all loosening up pretty good actually. That's working. Come on. Starting to breathe heavy. It's not too shabby. Getting down below level now. Camera's kind of in the way. I'll have to move you guys. Get a muffler! I do that once in a while. There's a couple really loud planes. They come over, you can't hear anything. So I yell at them. Makes me feel better. I'd imagine you guys would ever do anything like that. That's almost good enough. I don't know. That's below grade now. I think I have a winner. Whew. So that's where it was. It is gone. That wasn't too shabby, but that was the little one. I should have started with the biggest one first while I had all the energy. Yeah, so this one's probably twice as big as the other one. But I think I can do the same thing. I'm just gonna slice and dice on it all I can. And I'll save this one over here for last. This one's like the medium-sized one, so there was the carnage right over here. And you can see that I dug that out around there, so it's actually below grade now, so that'll be just fine. Good enough for the government job. Not a government, not yet anyway, soon. So I'm gonna go sharpen my saw, because I did that last couple cuts, I hit the ground and it got dull. So I'm gonna go sharpen it up. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna whittle on this one a whole bunch and we're gonna chop that one out. So this one's gonna be a little bit more work, but I can do it. it's time to sweat. As you saw, my first cut it cut excellent. The saw was nice and sharp. Second cut was just okay because I hit the ground a little, but then I really hit the ground over on whatever side it was, and that last cut was brutal. I had it smoking. But I think I can now chop in here and here, kind of around the edges, kind of get this edge kind of knocked down and out a little bit, and then maybe I can come in with the saw sharpened again. I can cut around and get down, but I'm gonna try to get some of these roots out right here too, so I'll see what happens. I'm starting to loosen up. Just about got that one. Ooh. I used to do this actually fairly often. I was like the guy that people would call. And I took out, I bet I did a good dozen stumps like this over a few year period. For I did my father-in-law, I did 3 or 4 for him. I did a couple for a brother-in-law, a couple neighbors, stuff like that. Nothing much bigger about what this is right here though. I think the biggest one I ever chopped out was with my dad. And it was probably I'd say a good 20-incher or so. And I remember chopping all the roots and my dad chopping kind of out and getting it done. I mean, it's a way to do it, but I did check into a stump grinder. It's $200 for a day, and I called a few days ago, and it was already rented all day for today, the one they had. And it was a Vermeer. It was a pretty nice unit. You know, it's one of the bigger rental ones now, and I guess they're excellent. So maybe next time. I got more stumps, but we'll work on these for now and see if we can knock a couple of these out of here. That's not bad there. Yeah, if I can even get it down to here, right to there, that wouldn't be too bad actually. Hate when that happens. Hate when axe gets stuck. Whew, okay. So now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop on this back side, see if I can get into it a little bit where I can kind of make a wedge from here into there, and then I can bring the saw back when I sharpen. I can bore into it and cut. But I just want to get away from the roots and dirt here so I can do a better and a longer saw cut without having to smoke it again. Oh, look at that. That's right, I had bored in on this side over here. Oh, it's kind of rotten there too, but I did cut this bottom. Oh, that's a big rotten spot right there. Nice. Nice. All right, I feel good about that. That makes me happy. Pretty good. Time to breathe. Gotta take a 5. Loose? Oh, got another one, I think. Yes. Getting chunks. Another 5 or 2 or 1. All right, so that went pretty good actually. A little bit of chopping, a little bit of cutting, and I'm just about done with it. I'm just gonna take a little bit off up in here where it's kind of high. Down there is actually not bad. So yeah, just gonna take a little bit of this stuff off. And I think we're gonna be good. I was just thinking that stump removal can be one of or 2 of 3 things. It can be easy and it can be cheap, but it's gonna take a lot of time. Cheap, easy, and fast, that's it. Pick 2. Cheap, easy, and fast. My mind is going. Right in the mouth. Okay, that's about all I'm gonna get. Hit all the easy stuff. Get tired. I think I'm gonna call it. Woo! Woo! Got 2 done. I've only been at this about an hour and a half or so since the beginning, maybe not even that. It's going pretty good actually. So here's all the carnage from this one, and you can see I'm standing on grade, and I'm plenty below grade here, so that's excellent. Very happy with that one. That one, a little one over there's done. All that's left is this guy right here. So we'll get this one next. See, I was trying to say that taking stumps out, you can have it two ways out of the three. You can either have it be fast, you can have it cheap, and easy. You only get to pick two out of the three. Because if you're going to do it fast, it's going to be expensive. And if you're going to do it cheap, I can't remember. Sorry. I'll put it in the comments. Gonna hit the other one now. So I just spent a couple minutes and I dug this all out a little bit more. And this one's shaped pretty weird. It's got a big root coming this way and a big root going that way. So I'm gonna chop those two roots off, or roots, whatever you want to call them. So I'm gonna chop this one off right here, get that dislodged. Then I'm gonna chop this one off right here and then kind of dig this out a little bit here. And I think I can just, this one I can just cut right off because it goes down more than out. So we're gonna do some chopola here. Well, that's not even a very big root there. So. The nice thing about roots, I don't know if you ever chopped roots before, they're softer. So they cut really pretty easy when you're chopping through them, but the bad thing is that they're kind of rubbery and they bounce and you get a lot of flex to them. So that's bad. As long as you can get a good shot on them, they usually pop right out. Yeah, that one's all loose, I think. Yep, get out of there all. Oh, it's just dirt. I'm gonna dig that out a little bit first here. Take a little breather while I dig. Because digging's a lot easier than chopping. If I get this dug out all the way around, this one I can just cut off, which is what's going to happen. I just sharpened the chain again, so I'm on. I think on this last sharpening, it's down to nubs. When I first started, it wasn't too bad, but now I sharpened it 3 times, and I had to take it down quite a bit to get it where it had any kind of a tooth to it, because the dirt and rocks and stuff that I've been hitting have taken quite a bit off of it, as far as rounding it, and then I had to try to get an edge on it, so I had to grind them off quite a bit. Now they're down to just about nothing. Well, this is going to be a good one because it's pretty vertical all the way from here, all the way around over to about here. Then it's just this big root over here, so shoot, this one I can just probably cut. I think I'll be able to cut from like right here, kind of angled down that way, cut from the other side going down this way, and that should do it. So it's just how long can I keep the saw sharp, that's the thing. How much dirt can I not cut? So for those of you that want to do stump removal, I'd have to say this actually isn't too bad. If you just got a few to do, or one, and they're not super big, you know, instead of spending 4 days trying to burn it out, which you can do, but I wanted to get them out. And I've been at this now almost 2 hours. I'm getting close to 2 hours here, which is about all the time I had. I'm going to go till this one's done, and I have 3 stumps out. And so I could have rented a grinder or hired someone to grind it. Probably would have cost, if I'd hired someone, I bet this would have been at least $400 or $500, maybe $600, I don't know. Those of you that know in the comments, I'm sure there's some tree service guys in here that would know. 3 stumps this size, what would they cost to grind out? And I know I could have rented a grinder for, like I said, a couple $100. But I have to wait a while to get it, so I'm just gonna, I'm the kind of guy that once I got a project on my mind, I just want to get it done. So, I'm getting her done. Now I get this sticky stuff. That rut or root, whatever you want to call it. It's connected way over here though. Ate a big lunch. It wants to come up when I do this chopping and this bending over stuff. Should have went with all lunch. And I'd be able to work better. I think that's probably going to be good enough. That's below grade. That's good enough. Time to cut. So I was just going to start the saw up and I had an idea. What I just did is I cut a slot right here for the power head of the saw. The back of the saw can go back here and it can lay in there, and that way I can get the bar and cut across. And I won't have to go at a steep angle at all. I can go as flat as possible. So I can get the camera down here so you can see. So I can go flat as possible into the stump and cut. So the back of the power head of the saw is back here. Lay it down and then cut across. I think that's a brilliant plan. We're gonna see if it works right now. Oh yeah! That's gonna work pretty good. Look at that. Lay it right down. Awesome. Huh? Huh? It's close. Just gotta do a little cutting or chopping. The saw super dull, so I'm not gonna cut much more with it, but I think I just gotta free up this edge back here. See what we got now. Still connected over here. Getting tired. Good thing I'm almost done. Ha! Guess I showed him. Look at that. Think I cut any dirt? This is solid dirt right here. Right here, that's all dirt. Whew. I did it. 3 of a kind. Should be playing poker. Have you winning? Got him out. This one was the easiest. Now that I know what I know, I mean, the little one wasn't bad because it was little. This one here was a lot more work, but there was more roots coming off of that, but that's below grade. This one over here is below grade. There's the carnage from those two. And then this one, there wasn't much carnage other than just digging a route around, getting the 2 main roots on the sides there. The roots are the problem, always to get around the roots. But that trench I cut right back here to lay the saw in and cut made all the difference in the world. But as you can see, because I was cutting low and these roots came off the side here, because the center of the tree is like over here. This patch right here I had cut through, that's all dirt. That's why the saw was just dull and smoking here. I'll turn this to the light so you can see a little better. There we go. So yeah, this is all dirt. But it came out in one chunk, other than just having to chop this side right here where this root was kind of growing in the corner there, but it's out. And that's the one that had to go the most, because I want to be, like I said, plow right through here and not have, this one's really in the way. That one over there was pretty much in the way too. So now I'm going to clean up all the chunks and stuff, shove the dirt back in the holes, and then I'm going to scoop a little dirt and just kind of ride around on here with the tractor. And then where the root humps, I don't know what to call them, it's the swell around the tree. There's this root area where the roots grow and then the ground lifts up a little bit all the way around. I'm going to scrape that off now that I can get at it, now that there's no stump to run into with the bucket. So I'm going to see what I can do to kind of work that down a little bit, and then that's what's happening next. Tractor time! Tractor time! There, I got to play in the dirt a little bit on the tractor. That was kind of fun. So I got a start on it anyway. Kind of ate into the corner there a little bit. I got a lot of work to do. It's frustrating because I don't want to think. I know what I want it to do, but it doesn't do it, and I'll get the hang of it. And I also, for sure, as soon as possible, have to get a ballast box on the back end, and I'm going to get a big one, like a 1,000-pounder, because there was a couple of scoops I had a pretty good amount of dirt lifted in there, and even though I was trying to keep it low, I could feel the butt coming up. It was light in the rear, so I'm going to get some weight on the back end as soon as possible. And so yeah, I'm just kind of leveling this off in here so that filling this in so it's not just such a straight drop into the woods, and then I'll be able to just kind of keep debris in this area. That's kind of the plan. But tomorrow is another day, and tomorrow I'm doing stacking. I got lots of stacking to do now that I got my stump removal all smoothed out over here. You saw that was pretty good. So yeah, this whole area in here now is looking good, and I'll just keep working on that as I get time. But tomorrow I got to do stump removal. I got to do some stacking. I got a lot of stacking to get done, and that's what's going to happen. So tomorrow when you come back, because I'm going to be here, you should be here too. It's the place to be. I'll see you then. Between now and then, get outside, get cutting. Good night, Irene.